B-rated movies.
Welcome to B-rated, B-rated movies, where B-rated isn't a bad word. Today, we have an interview with Glenn Payne, the director and actor in Driven and A Killer Concept, and Casey Dillard, the writer and actor in Driven and A Killer Concept. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoy this interview. Well, thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, yeah, so we're here with two people, so I should probably differentiate the voices. We're here with Glenn Payne, the director of Driven, and Casey Dillard, the star and the writer of Driven.
One of the stars. It's a two.
One of the stars. Yeah, and the other guy, I had to look him up because I thought, like, he looks familiar.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I think I've seen him on Supernatural.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Richard.
And boy, have you.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a fandom within that show.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
does. But Rich is not here, Casey, so you can just say, yeah, I'm the star of the movie. Because he's not here to fight you on
you were
that.
the one doing all the work. You were driving him around.
Exactly. Richard
But,
Spate. What number is he again?
Oh, we love Rich. Rich is great.
We do, yeah.
Yeah, it was. We really enjoyed that movie. It was really fun. Like it had good moments. Like excellent character work.
Thank you. I
Yes.
really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's mostly Casey. She wrote it and starred in it from what I hear. So
Yes, I was the uncontested star of Driven. And if you're listening to this and disagree, then you are free to fist fight me in a Denny's parking lot.
They'd have to see the show like they did. You know, you helped out with well, I mean, hopefully they've listened to the episode before they listen to the interview, so we don't give them too many spoilers. But you know, you helped out with murdering some of those demons.
I mean, did they die? It's a little iffy on how hard the process is on the human body. Roger's very unclear on some of that.
there was some blood involved in one for sure. So I think that
There
one
was
didn't
some
go too well.
bloodletting. We do know that.
Big
Yeah,
light.
it was a different type of demon. It was interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You say bloodletting? I didn't know that. Is that what he was doing?
Yeah. It had happened.
Ah, gaining new information. That's cool.
Well, so tell us a little bit about yourselves. How you got into filmmaking. How you got like to here, like to this point in time, more or less.
Go,
Miss
Glenn,
Dillard?
go.
Oh man, okay. I was going to throw it to you. Sure, I'll go. So my background is in fine art, painting, and I went to college for that, and then got into film through that, not thinking it was something that real people could do, because it's such a weird, big type thing. But bought like $100 camera from Walmart and used all my sisters to help me make stuff for several years, and slowly tried to make things that sucked less and less, hopefully each time. And met Miss Casey through improv group we were in Tupelo, Mississippi, called West of Shake Rag. And I was like, this person seems to know what they're talking about. As she makes a face. But,
Seems to.
yeah. So been addicted to making things ever since, I guess, for better or for worse.
I just found some headphones, so my audio might get better.
Oh, cool. It doesn't sound that bad.
No, it sounds good.
Oh, that's great news.
Yeah.
I just worry y'all can hear the birds.
Never know, man. Casey, what was your journey? PG. PG.
Yes. So first of all, check. Can we? Is everything
Yeah.
still? Okay, cool. So I just basically a kid with a pathological need for attention and the natural places that life takes you from there. I was always very theatrical. I loved performing. I did a lot of theater. I did some stand-up comedy, and then I got involved with a comedy troupe and saw the improvisers, and I was like, well, that looks like I might be better at that than this other thing, which led me to improv, which I've been in and out of over the years, and then movies more through Glenn. Like I said, I had done acting before, but I didn't really start, I guess, pursuing any kind of movies until I met Glenn.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, how long have you guys been working together? Like, after we watched Driven, like, I searched your guys' work together, and there's Stag Wrestle Paranormal.
Hey,
Yes.
you got
Yes.
the name
You
right. Oh
nailed
my
the
gosh, I love you
pronunciation.
so much.
We're the
Stag
screen
Wrestle,
high
like, you
five.
can't go
That's
wrong
so
with
rare.
it. There you go.
Yeah.
Stag Wrestle, and then
Mhm.
the Killer Concept.
Killer Concept, yes.
Which
So
I really enjoyed. A Killer Concept. It was
thank
pretty
you.
cool.
Oh, thank you.
That,
That
that
was
one
our.
was fun. We filmed
I
that
got
during
what?
early quarantine in
Yeah.
2020, I think. That's why there's so few people in that movie and around.
Got so
Oh, yeah.
mad at the end. I was like, no, don't do it. Don't hit it. Oh, damn it. Now you're never going to get out of this freaking stepdad's car shop. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, no.
Eating
Don't
peanuts.
do it.
Wow, you retained a lot of
You
details from
did.
that.
I appreciate
That
this
was an
conversation.
impressive spiel.
Oh,
You're,
it's
you're
not
really
like
knocking out the all
Which-
the hurdles that we set up.
it was. Like at the end, like I said, Anthony and I, I don't know if you've heard of some of ours, but we're like, if you could put yourself in those positions, then, and so when I was like, God damn it, as soon as he turned his back to you, I was like, this guy's going to get away with it. And then you stood up and I was like, no, she's coming out of it. She's coming out of it. Never really wanted, chloroform to last a little bit longer until
Yeah.
just 30 more seconds, but
Oh man,
Alas,
great.
he knows his dosage.
Yeah,
Right.
that was our that's our $900 movie.
really,
Yeah, yeah.
nuts.
I mean, sometimes you can probably tell, but we tried real hard.
It was a pretty cool touch to use like things that have fallen out of copyright, so you don't really have to
Yeah.
pay anybody
anyone?
anymore. Because I didn't realize that was the case on a lot of stuff until I heard about Night of the Living Dead and they didn't copyright it properly.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So now literally anybody can play it anywhere in anything.
Yeah, and I
Great.
think Glenn has used Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, we all
most
have.
of them.
Every
I think
filmmaker
every
ever
indie
has had.
filmmaker has used the clip of Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially, so we met doing improv. Well, we got serious about doing improv in 2010, I think,
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
ish. And then we also ended up working at the same bookstore. And I would say the name of it, but it's a big corporate one and they're not paying me, and I'm much more mercenary than that. So pony up the money if you want that. But so we were just around each other so much that it was constantly kind of bouncing ideas back and forth. And when you develop this many different projects with somebody, it's like, if we develop a script together, I'm not going to go hand it to another director and try and make it. And same with him on the acting end. And that's why we've worked together on so many projects. And so the answer is we've been working together off and on since about 2010.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, we've seen that, like I said, there's, I don't want to say like the connection, like it just seems like it's like easier. So that was going to be another one of my questions was like, with Stag Wrestle, obviously that's pretty, I think it's pretty funny. Sorry if you guys didn't mean it to be as funny as I find it to be.
Oh no,
Yeah,
It
the
is intended to be a
Colonel, you
comedy.
can't, have anything around that guy.
yeah.
That's not kids. But with him, to you guys, is there, don't get me wrong, you guys are doing great with the Driven and with Killer Concept, but then you go and you switch over to, Stag Wrestle. Like, is there one that you prefer doing more? Like, is there a genre that you prefer to, or, prefer to do?
Well, to be super clear, we have tried to make doing Stag Wrestle Paranormal our full-time job for a long time. The clunky format may have clued you in that it wasn't originally supposed to have been a movie.
I was about to say,
Yeah, it's not
we
really.
pitched it as a series and filmed 4 episodes. And then, like, it was on Amazon as a series for a long time. And then, for whatever reason, a couple of years ago, they pulled it down. So we just ended up basically reformatting it into a show and resubmitting it.
Yeah.
Now, that's not necessarily to say that, like, I prefer doing the comedy genre, but I will say that it's a more enjoyable process if it's
Absolutely.
a comedy. Like, you're probably not going to do as many like intense yelling or crying scenes and having all that energy hanging all over the room. Usually people are laughing and kind of having a good time. So it's usually like just a fun set to be part of. Stag Wrestle in particular, and comedies in general. Usually if somebody's like in a bad mood and being a butthole, it's me. So it's always nice when I'm the biggest monster on set.
I love
Hey, somebody else has a dog.
Yeah, that's me.
It's usually coming from Casey's microphone.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I
yeah,
said,
I don't know. Like,
here over here.
I've thought about this a lot lately, so it's interesting that you bring it up. But I mean, I love comedies, and I always tell this to Casey, but I love the idea of, I do it personally all the time. I come home and it's been a tough day or whatever, and I'll turn on a comedy show that I'm into at the time, and like, it just makes me happy. It makes life better. And I love the idea of being able to bring that to other people if they think the stuff that we do is funny. That's the caveat, of course. But at the same time, like, I do love thrills and suspense and cool visuals and things. So that's why you probably see me do a lot of horror comedies, which, you know, I would put Driven under that. And Killer Concept wasn't as heavy on the laughs by any means, but, you know, we improvised all the dialogue in that. So what's that, Casey?
I would say it was more of a dark comedy than like a horror comedy.
Right.
Yeah, for sure have its moments of laughing and Killer Concept.
Oh yeah, I like the moment where they're talking about the kill that just happened the previous night, and it's like in their head or how it happened, where he's like super serious and he stalks her and he kills her, and then like how it actually happened and how he just like almost bumbles the entire kill.
Yeah.
Like, that was hilarious.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
We actually had to like
choke him.
was that a scene that we had to kind of fix on the fly because the lighting, that was the night the lighting just was nuts, and
I think we had to fix most things on the fly with that movie.
Yeah, we did.
Are you asking, was there a more elaborate version of it going wrong? Is that what you're saying? Probably, probably so.
And then I think it was like, what time is it? It's 4:30. No, we're going to get this in a wide shot. We're going to knock it out.
Slap me in the face here. Let's just do this. No. You know, the hardest thing about that whole movie, other than everything, was just like simple blood splatter on the wall. There's like one shot where he, in the imaginary kills, he just throws the machete, you know, swings a machete, and he goes, you know, on the wall.
Yeah.
And like, I had to go back and reshoot that. That took so long, forever, just to get that to it. And it didn't even look, you know, that great in the end.
I was so hoping it was going to be worth the effort when we saw it.
It was a lot of effort.
Nah, it really wasn't.
Air compressor and all kinds. And it's like, just, it was passable. That's what happened.
So, kids, if you take a message from this podcast, it's that your best effort really isn't worth it past a certain point.
There's another. We always have PSAs on every single one of our episodes.
Excellent.
Oh, good.
There's a lot of PSAs of, you know, I think one of them was, kids don't vape. What was the other one? Like, don't be an asshole.
Sure.
Don't walk into houses uninvited.
Yeah, don't walk into somebody's house. You'll be murdered. You know,
don't do drugs, don't do school, stay in milk.
Drink your school?
I said, drink your drugs, don't do school, and stay in milk.
That's
There
a
you
new
go.
one.
We need to get that shining star sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right before we do a bunch of this stuff.
The more you know.
Right.
What is it? Yeah. No, it's crazy that you were saying that it did that. Like, we thought Killer Concept was put together, very nice. You know, like I said, except the end. I almost threw something on my TV. But no, I thought it was put together. Then
I'm glad you're that invested.
Yeah, I am too. And it's still sort of open. Who knows what really happened behind that door?
I think we know.
Well, yeah, probably. But
I think we know.
Brent came to rescue, right? Was it Brent? Your boyfriend?
Oh,
yeah. No, Brent Less is he's no one's hero. He's gonna pray for both of them, probably.
Oh, okay, yeah. For a second, I was like, "Did you name her boyfriend Brent in Killer Concept?" And I missed that call back to Stag Wrestle somehow.
No, he was crossing the universe.
Yeah, you're just referencing. Yeah, Brent. Yeah.
Dang it.
Oh man. So when people mention Stag Wrestle, we were so excited because Casey, what do you think is a realistic percentage of how often people get that name right? Even if they watch the show and hear it pronounced, they still say it wrong. God bless them. That's fine. We still love them for watching it. But
it's 20%? A sad percentage.
It's like pretty low. So thank you for that.
It's probably like a quarter of viewers that don't call it Stargassle or Stargrassy. And I'm like, it's in the show. I understand looking at it in print.
Stargrassle.
But
it's the same thing. Like my last name, like my entire life, nobody knows how to say it. And you're just like, oh, all right. And then they'll like say something. Then like eventually they start making like a motorcycle sounds. And it's like, and I was like, good job. That's exactly how you say it. You know, it's like you like graduate high school. I think legally I haven't graduated high school because they never called my name. There's like, Ryan, you're up. And I was like, all right, thanks everybody. You know?
Did they then have to like high five you to just pretend that your relationship was extremely casual and that's just
like this is how we do all of our students who just
I was making a joke,
names like this. Yeah. Like it's like 3 syllables, super easy, you know, like, oh, don't tell you after the recorded, but yeah, everybody else getting married and like they practice it and you're just like, yes, perfect. And then it's like they get the like stage like fright. So it's like, oh God, I got to say it now. Oh Jesus, you know, and you're just like, dude, it's seriously
that
super
happened
easy.
To one of our old improv mates. I guess I'll just announce her full name on the internet. Marley Meharry.
Oh, Meharry, yeah.
People always want to make it like Marley Maharley or Marley Mahari or like they panic. That double M and that double R-E just really.
Marley Mahari. I love that. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work in a doctor's office and I would have to like call back patients and it was like you'd like see the name like maybe 10 seconds before you have to walk out there and say it. And it was like with the really like big names that I didn't know, it was just like, I'm just going to start pronouncing things until somebody stands up and then trail off. No one will know I didn't know how to say that.
I would just start being like sore throat, headache,
that's
numbers of your phone.
That's super legal.
It is, as long as you don't say their first and last name. We both worked in things. We know what's going on.
Yeah.
Who has the exploding prostate? Prostate.
Exploding prostate, yeah.
Yep.
So my question after watching Driven is, where was the turd spoon line improvised? I love that line. It hooked me.
The turd spoon was definitely part of the script. And it ended up being like part of our whole marketing campaign. I think on Twitter, the fans still do like a hashtag turd spoon forever.
All right, I'll write that down.
But no, it was always part of the script.
Casey wishes it was improvised.
I wish I had nothing to base it on. Is what
because it's based on what? Real life.
Yep. Not anymore. We're moving on up, like the Jeffersons. Can't sing the song. That's another thing that I learned when we started having to do interviews for these things, because as well as being very sweary, I sing a lot, and it's like we don't have the rights to that. You gotta
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah, we do that. We'll do about how many notes can we do? 3 or 4 notes.
think it's like-
All right, no more.
Yeah,
We'll get in trouble.
Like, I don't know if it's a rule yet, but we don't want to have to take things down later.
exactly.
Yeah.
Why make problems for yourself?
Exactly. Well, so do you guys have any upcoming projects?
that you can talk about.
Yeah, well, yeah, as much as you can tell us, of
Yes,
course.
Glenn, what were you doing 5 minutes prior?
I'm editing another movie right now. Yeah, I have a new suspense feature film called Safe and Sound, which I'm editing, as I mentioned. So that will come out, I don't know, at some point.
And this is a Casey-free joint, so like I'm kind of flying partially blind. I read some early drafts of the script, but I know it went through at least 2 revisions since I last saw it, and I'm very excited based on what I've heard about filming
cool.
and the cast and everything.
Thanks, man. Yeah, really, really exciting cast. Looking forward to seeing everything come together. And not as many laughs in this one, but hopefully some other exciting things. I hope. But
Good PSAs in there. Rules.
yeah, there's got to be some PSAs about trusting people. Don't trust anyone, I think, is probably the what the kids should learn from that one.
I think the funny thing is,
the
like,
central thesis of most of your movies, Glenn Payne. Do you ever think about that?
I have trust issues.
Let's get into that. Why do you think that is? Tell these 2 gentlemen that you've just seen.
Oh my gosh.
I'm joking.
I was about to get into some real stuff. I'm glad you stopped me. Thanks.
Yeah. Let's not unzip too far on this our first meeting. I'm working on a project with some of my puppets called Dirtbag Drive, and it's not worth getting into beyond that. I just hope it'll actually come to some full fruition at some point in time in the near future, because right now running sound on it is undoing me.
Running sound on it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Well,
Would you
there's
like
a
to
couple,
elaborate
there's
on
a
that?
couple of, for the most part, the puppets and I are in different shots, but Rod and I specifically a couple of times are in the same spot. So I have to like record his stuff
Oh.
and then get my little earwig so that like I know I remember his anyway, it's a whole pain in my personal ass, and I hate that I ever even came up with the idea. So we'll see what happens.
no.
No. No. Sit.
Yeah, you didn't hear me tip the table over upstairs earlier today? No, that was
Oh, were you working on it?
yesterday. Yeah.
That's cool. I'm excited to see that. She's pretty amazing with puppets. They sang me, 2 of her puppets sang me a happy birthday song. It was shockingly impressive.
Wow.
And apparently they got something wrong, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
But
she's
speaking of Safe and Sound, Casey, so I was visiting you, I don't know, January-ish, I guess, New Year's. And before we'd filmed it, yeah, we did a read-through. That's the version you read, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But she used several puppets to play every part in the movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did a full puppet show.
Yeah, that's pretty. She's too talented.
It was like a throwback to my childhood when I would trap my parents in the living room and make them watch puppet shows.
Like
that's cool, though.
Legit puppets, or like those one with the strings, like Pinocchio. What are those, masquerades? What the
marionettes? No, I do the actual. Yeah, okay. I don't do shadow puppetry well. I can do like some full body, off body puppetry, but I prefer to have one that I can interact with.
All right.
I made a commercial for a company where Casey is attacked by a marionette. We'll send you guys the link to that.
That would be cool.
I do have marionettes. I just they're not my preferred medium.
All right. No, I think I mentioned it before on one of our episodes. Like my grandma and my great grandma were like clowns, They always have like these creepy ass dolls in like the closet. They one had like a monkey, and like my younger brother, who's now bigger than me, like we'd always like throw it to him, and like my little sister, and they'd get super pissed. And finally, they were like, "Oh, there's just some." It was a really messed up looking monkey doll, you know. But
Mine are pretty cute. Actually, hold on just a second. I think they're nearby. Bear with.
We're doing a well. She's gonna come hang out with me at a horror convention coming up this month, actually, where I'm taking some artwork, and we're gonna promote like Driven and stuff like that. But gosh, why did I mention that? There was a point. Oh my gosh.
we're talking about puppets.
Yeah, I'm have to come back to that. Wow, COVID brain.
Where at?
Well, whatever it was insanely interesting. I don't know.
Here's the convention. Oh, yeah, like those are legit. Sucks for everybody who doesn't, we only do audio. So we can't see these. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are my puppets.
Those are awesome. Where's the convention?
In Kentucky.
Oh.
Lexington, Kentucky. Casey, I started telling them we're going to a convention, and I was tying it into something, and then I completely forgot why I brought it up.
Well, because we were talking about trying to go to the Vent Haven Museum in Kentucky.
See, that's why we work well together, because I forgot what I was thinking, and she knew. That's why. That's it. Yeah.
Boom.
Have y'all ever heard of the Vent Haven Museum?
No.
So, like, when a professional ventriloquist dies, this is where their doll is retired to. So they just have these rooms and rooms of these. They're ranging from slightly off-putting to terrifying, but depending on how you feel about ventriloquist dolls. And they're unfortunately in the middle of a renovation, so they're not opening until early next year. So we're not going to be able to go. But we were talking about trying to double up the convention with a Vent Haven visit.
Hey, that does. God, now I'm trying to Dead Silence, that movie.
Yeah.
That shit's probably based off a goddamn true story. What the hell? I had no idea. Like, wouldn't you just pass that shit down to your kids or something? Put them in some creepy ass museum?
Yeah, what? I mean, I'm sure that some people do pass them down to family or whatever, but I guess you can specify that you can send it to the Vent Haven. I mean, if you Google image search Vent Haven Museum, you'll see just the sheer volume.
And then you won't be able to go to sleep.
What now?
We wanted to, there's a clown hotel, I guess it was in California, right, Casey? Or
Nevada.
It was in Nevada, okay.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
We assumed it would be near Vegas, because why wouldn't it be?
I guess that was what it was.
It was not.
Yeah, but because the Stag Wrestle, and if anyone who's seen that, or there's clowns in there. Mrs. Malone's boarding house is full of clowns. So we always thought it'd be cool to go there and film an episode.
Good.
Awesome.
Not yet. Waiting for that Netflix deal.
Yeah, I saw the wall full of dummies. Ooh.
Road trip.
Yep.
Right.
That is truly terrifying.
My God, some of these things.
For the most part, I definitely understand why ventriloquist dummies are creepy. I am just personally not creeped out by them.
Yeah, I imagine it's a familiarity factor.
Maybe so. I mean, I definitely prefer just a puppet, and even my puppets, I would prefer them to be like monsters than humanoid. But
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I think. Whatever. I don't know how kids get the whatever. I'm afraid of a clown. I think my son, I don't know if he's being serious. He's like, I'm afraid of clowns. I was like, shut up. You ain't never seen a scary clown. Like, what are you talking about, man?
It's because when you're very young, your vocabulary is still like so far in development that you get a lot of your like social and gauging people's cues by reading their facial expression and body language. And big mascots and clowns and things, it's very hidden. or it's very exaggerated to the point of being scary, and kids find it untrustworthy.
Well, how come we all don't find it scary then?
I mean, we
Riddle me
kind of
that.
do, but some
Like
people.
what? Like that's a serious like Sesame Street. That's like the number one thing that like deaf people hate.
Mhm.
Like I used to be an interpreter for like sign language, like ASL, and that was the first thing. That was like, yeah, Sesame Street. They hate them because you can't read their facial expression, you can't read their lips, anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, screw that show. Like, let me find one of those characters like walking around my house, and yeah, I got a younger brother that's deaf, basically. Yeah, and he's like, no, Sesame Street sucks. I'm just like, oh, all right, didn't know that until like I freaking went through college and everything, learning about this stupid shit. I've known you since I was 9 years old, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I guess it makes sense though. You can't read. They can't read.
Yeah.
Clowns are one of those things where it's like I've thought about making, like very briefly, clown horror movies because it's cheap, right? It's like super easy to do the clown makeup and stuff instead of like making a huge lizard monster would be expensive. But there's so many people that are like, oh, I will not watch it because that's clowns, that I was too gun shy that like there really would be a huge number of people that just truly wouldn't watch it. So
See, my issue with it is that I think it's very rare that you see a clown movie done super well.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, honestly, you don't see any movie done super well all that often, but you know.
Well, there was that
include my own
one.
in
It's a
that,
short.
listeners. Don't come for me. I already know. But
There was that short that I brought up with Anthony where that clown bites the other guy and then he turns into a clown. And I'm like, oh, that's perfect. That's how it happens.
yeah,
Like, it's not a profession. Like, you get bitten and then you get chosen to be a clown.
that's pretty funny. I
Yeah.
haven't seen that one.
It's message it to you. It's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I thought it was I watched it a while ago and I was like, oh, for sure we're going to do this on one of our episodes. And then I was like trying to search it and I was like, oh, it's a short video, you know?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
part of another movie. And I was like, damn it. But it was.
That
The
is
concept-
that's pretty interesting.
You
Yeah,
get
I think
bitten by a clown at his son's birthday party.
Yeah, we did Clownado, which
Wow.
was truly
Amazing.
strange.
I mean,
I mean,
like,
apparently,
it must be-
when you cut people open, they have jelly inside of them.
Like-
Yeah, like the
and
anatomy was
forgive me
weird.
if I'm wrong. I'm not familiar with the work that is Clownado, but I assume it's kind of like made to be silly and bad.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I assume.
Are those hard to like tackle as sort of media reviewers, because it's like they have such a good like built in, well, it's supposed to be dumb, like
Well, I mean, we don't. I wouldn't say we
Alcohol.
review.
fair
We
enough.
just have
It's
fun with
discussed.
it. So the more stuff there is to talk about, the better.
Mhm.
It's like we'd rather do something in that direction than something in like the Mandy direction, where I know that we've done a couple interviews and directors are like, I love that movie, it's amazing, and it's like we had such a hard time getting through that movie. It was like, it's so artistic and so interpretive, and it just doesn't lend well to what we do.
Right. Well,
We
especially
also
with
consume a lot of alcohol within that short amount of time. So, like the beginning of the episode, like we like enunciate very nicely, and we talk and everything. By the end of the episode, it's like, what the fuck? We can't even what? And everybody's like, we know that you're drunk by the end of the episode, Brian. I'm like, I tell you straight up, hey, this is what we're drinking. This is how much we're going to drink tonight. So, I mean, it's not like I'm trying to hide it, but
Yeah,
it
that's
helps.
fair.
And then we just laugh more. Like, it's always, we love watching, even for Anthony and I, like, even knew each other existed, Like, I was watching indie films with my friend and drinking, and then Anthony's like, hey, we should do this podcast about indie films and drinking alcohol. And I was like, hell yeah, we should. It's a great time watching movies and drink with your friends.
Yeah, I think it works better for us for the fact that there are so many horror podcasts out there that like to review and be technical and like tell you the parts they liked and why they didn't like things, and it's like it's all subjective. It's like
Yeah.
somebody put their blood, sweat, and tears into this, and we should celebrate it rather than like talking about the parts we don't like.
Sure.
Because I've never made a movie.
Yeah, and we said no matter what we do,
I don't recommend it.
What we do, it's a million times better than we would ever be able to do. You know,
it ages you.
That's an amazing attitude to have, though. Like, it's pretty rare. People don't usually. I think it's usually the opposite. People, and like I would have been guilty of this probably before getting into making movies years ago. But we all watch so much content, even more now. But when I was younger, like everyone feels like an expert because they've been watching TV shows and movies since they were a kid. So there's like, I think a lot of people, or most of us, feel like a certain level of expertise to viewing things. We've seen so much over our lifetime.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if you guys have seen the new Halloween movie.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's really divided. Like people either absolutely love it or absolutely hate it, which to me means it did what it was supposed to do. It made you feel something.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, like, I loved it. I thought it worked. If you get the concept, you get the concept. If you don't, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Murder.
Well, you haven't seen it, Brian, but they take a massive left turn.
I heard.
Yeah, which, like, in some ways makes it one of the truest Halloween sequels of all, because they used to just be kind of these disconnected stories that people would slap a logo on the beginning of, because John Carpenter was like, look, I took a financial bath the first time, so whatever makes me more money.
Works.
So we have the original and part 2, which are some pretty fun, trying something different slashers, but we also have Halloween Resurrection, which is insane. And I think it's where Tyra Banks came up with the idea for America's Next Top Model. And bear with me here, because the dates check out. Have we all seen Halloween Resurrection, first of all?
Yeah.
All right, it's the one where they're filming a reality show that's Dangertainment. And they've planted scary stuff all over the house to psychologically torture these contestants. And Tyra Banks plays a producer in that movie, and that was in 2003, I think. And then in 2004, America's Top Model, where Tyra Banks psychologically tortures, emotionally fragile young women for our entertainment, comes out. And I honestly think that she was there filming her little drinking a cappuccino and about to die sequence, and she was like, I just had an idea.
I can do this.
The smile is reaching my eyes. Anyway, that's how I tie my favorite horror franchise into my favorite reality television series.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the swing. I like the fact that they take a swing at something different as opposed to Michael walks around town killing people for 90 minutes and this is our movie.
Stamina.
I think that something that was missing for me from both of the latter two in the, I don't even know what to call it. Do we call it the David Gordon Green Halloween?
Yeah.
Trilogy. I really miss the energy of a Loomis character. And he was, they had like a very direct ripoff of Loomis in the first one. And kudos to the guy, because he definitely studied Donald Pleasance before he came in there and did that role, and then they did what they did with it, which I won't get into in case people haven't seen it. And that was a fun little take.
He felt like a mad scientist though at times.
Right, but I mean, so does Professor Loomis. Honestly, it's like, Professor, do you not have other patients?
Yeah.
Doctor.
Literally, he's the doctor who only has one patient.
Yeah.
And the insurance pays really well.
Why are you chasing down a cult right now, sir?
I have one patient and a gun.
And you know, to be fair, that guy was quite mad scientisty, but like I said, I like that manicness to kind of match the stoicness of Michael, because he's such an energy vacuum, unless he inexplicably turns into an action hero doing 20-person kill sequences. But like, I don't know. To me, I like the whole Loomis Michael energy balance, and that's sort of lacking in the latter two for me.
Yeah.
Everyone's mileage may vary. I just really like a crazy old man that's like, give me the script and I'm going to go at it at an 11, and you just tell me when. Tell me when the microphone peaks and I'll dial it back.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which seems to be how Donald Pleasance approaches every project. I love him.
Yeah, I do remember hearing, what was it, what's her name, Danielle Harris, who played the other Jamie, talking about how, what was it, Halloween 5, she said she distinctly remembered that he would get close to her face and definitely smell the alcohol on his breath.
Sure.
It kind of felt like
when
that.
They were really working together was in like 5?
4 and 5,
where
I
she
think.
wasn't talking, and so he'd be like shaking her and stuff, and I'm sure that was very intense for a small child.
Yeah. She said the one thing he did for her was they were going to take away his like super trailer that they brought just for him, and he told the director, the trailer stays, she's the star now.
Huh.
So it's kind of cool.
It's cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, so as far as like inspirations for movies, like what like draws you to a project, then another project, then another project kind of thing? Like when you make stuff.
I think for me, one of the things I love about filmmaking is the variety, because you know it's going to take a large chunk of your life, whether you want it to or not. So each time you tell a new story, there's new things you can look at, and it keeps it fresh for you. And like I kind of parallel that or compare that to painting. So I still paint, but I used to do a lot of these black and white paintings. They were like film noir stuff, like people in trench coats and fedoras and stuff. And I really enjoyed them. But after so long, like it gets really old. Like you're doing the same thing. Even if they're different, they're still kind of very similar. And with movies, I don't really get that. I get worn out, and I definitely lose years of my life because it's so draining and so hard. But you can get these new characters and new genre, new story, and I guess that variety kind of keeps me going and inspired. Which is tricky because you got to make sure you finish the last movie before you get inspired by something you want to move on to. That can be difficult. Yeah, I think it just being wide open with possibilities is what keeps me drawn to it.
Nice.
As far as what keeps me drawn to it as an art form, I appreciate the semi-permanence of film. I love improv, but like if you have a 10 out of 10 scene and there's only 5 people in the audience, those are the only 5 people that are ever going to see that show, and it is otherwise, just lost out there in space. Whereas when you put, and I'm not going to pretend it's a comparable amount of the same kind of effort, but you put it into a film and it's out there. And people can see it, and they can come back to it, and they can find new things to watch about it. Like that's another fun. Like sometimes if we do an improv show, I'll be doing stage, and I will hear the audience laughing. It's like I don't really get to know what that is. I can't participate in that joke because I'm doing my own thing over here. Maybe I get take in the whole scene, and I can watch it from an outside perspective afterwards. What draws me to a particular project is basically if people want me to work on it. So not that well, obviously it has to interest me past a pitch, but for the most part,
that gets you in the door. But once you're in the door, then what? Because I know you. Then what?
I just like characters that, on some level, act like humans. I hate when I get a script and it's like it's very very beautiful prose, but it's not how people talk, or it's like these very lovely emotional taut scenes, but it wouldn't necessarily make sense for people to act that way. That's always a little distracting for me.
Like when all of a sudden they're naked in the bathroom.
What now?
That was your complaint. You went off on now I can't remember the guy's name. You're like, why is she naked? And he's like, this is how it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't even in the story.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Right?
Well, yeah, like I do like the third writer. He was really entertaining. He's he's kind of the wild card, and he just has the crazy ideas, and everybody has to rein him in all the time.
So
he was
yeah.
so terrified of that movie because of the Coley, the actor Coley Bryant. He, to me, okay. So first of all, to me, everyone does improv. This conversation is not scripted. You're improvising everything you say, but he hasn't done improv in like a team stage format like Glenn and I have. And he was so worried about it. And it was like after the first day of filming, I was like, Coley, it's fine. You're doing great, man. Yeah. He did a very good impression of like the idea person that is not taking 10 seconds to ask why or how we're going to film the thing. Yeah, he was.
Well, the backstory there is that so Killer Concept, we didn't have a script, so there was no dialogue to memorize. Once again, this was our like kind of quarantine movie. So Casey came up with an outline for the story, and like each scene was sort of outlined. Like in the scene,
had an outline,
yeah, we need to mention these things for the story to work. But then all the dialogue, we all made it up on our own as we went.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would do it a few times, and then we'd kind of memorize it on the fly. So when she says he was nervous, he didn't have Coley, but Coley didn't have dialogue to memorize and come the next day prepared to do. He had to make it up.
So he was writing his own dialogue, essentially.
He's super anxious about it. But he did a great job.
Yeah, he did. He really...
You were doing something. Driving around people. Like, that's what Anthony and I were just like, wait a second, I've been in like an Uber or Lyft or, a ride car before, and you're just like, you can't just drop somebody off, be like, okay, I guess I'll wait, I'll keep the meter running. And we're just like, what? Like, get out of that guy. As soon as he came back the first time, put that blood on your mirror or your car, we're just like, dude, just be like, sorry, man, ride's over, and then click the button, get your money, and then drive.
I mean, to be fair, when the blood showed up, she did try and get rid of him then. I
remember in that movie, I don't really think this is a spoiler if you watch the trailer, but I think in the script, Casey, it was like he tapes her hand to the steering wheel or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember reading it, and like once again, like logic and sincerity and dialogue and actions is very important to me. And I was like, I just don't know if that's gonna like be realistic. And then we did it, and Rich, he did like the first try. He just really taped your hand to the thing in like one fell swoop. So I was like, okay, I guess it is a viable thing to try. I guess he can do that.
I mean, in fairness, I did. Hey, calm down, bro. I did consult stories of Uber drivers who were like, robbed and things on the job. And, that's the kind of stuff people do to keep them in the car.
Weird. So strange.
That's scary. Yeah, that scene really did like, I had to think about it because my first reaction is like, she should just be like, get the F out of my car. But then like, he's got a big knife. He's a man. He can outsize you. It's like the way you play it. It's very. It feels very realistic. Like I don't have the upper hand here, but I need to get you to do what I need to do to be safe.
Thank you.
And it feels authentic.
Thank you. Yeah, that was kind of the idea, is that like she now knows he's doing something, but she doesn't know, what all he's got on him besides a knife. Like that's one thing. Who knows what else? Um, so, there's the whole let me not uh, accidentally make the seemingly violent person angry aspect of it, which is, a fun tightrope you get to walk as a lady in the world. But yeah, that was a fun scene, and yes, like Glenn said, Rich is very quick with duct tape. He would make an excellent kidnapper in real life. Maybe he already has.
How this
I'm not
happened so
sure.
smoothly?
Yeah. He was very, he was.
You heard it
good at
here
a lot of
first,
those
people. He's very good.
You wouldn't do it right there.
Rich.
It was good. We liked it. I think that the
Yeah,
most
it was.
important. I think I don't know if I mentioned this in that episode or not, but like I just did an adult thing where I like actually downloaded like the Lyft app and actually did it by myself, because I'm usually like with friends and we're usually been drinking. I was like, oh, I've been drinking. I need to get to my friends. I was like, but I've never done this before. So I think I did it like right before we watched that episode. I was like, yes. And then we watched that. It's like, fuck, that could have been me. Like I would have been the one that's like, hey, you need to go kill this person. I'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah, it is funny. Like I've mentioned it before, and fortunately, a lot of other horror movies are now getting in on the game as well. But I do think there's something just inherently a little bit scary about Uber and Lyft. Like we're told throughout all of our childhood, don't accept rides from strangers, don't give rides to strangers. And now it's like, give the stranger your home address, come have them
And
pick
money.
you up and take you to a second location.
Yeah.
A lot of room for nefarious deeds. You could go
I-
a whole lot of more horrifying directions.
I had an Uber ride recently, and like as I was in the car, I mean the guy was fine, but I just took note that it was like super weird and like.
Was I there?
Well, you were there. I was trying to not act like we didn't do everything together, but you were there. You were in the car with me.
Okay.
And I was just thinking to myself, this is creepy. Like this guy's fine. He's quiet. He hasn't said anything at all.
Yeah,
and that's creepy to me.
He wasn't a talker.
Yeah, he wasn't a talker.
And that's fine. I kind of follow their cue on that.
Yeah. But point is, I guess that even then, I just took note that like, yeah, this is weird.
You should come to like, hey, I made a movie because of how awkward this ride home was.
We should have given him a driven card and be like, hey, check out our project.
I know, right? Yeah.
Wait a second, I'm a driver. That could be me. I don't even know.
Oh man. I love to joke about driven sequels, which I guess is not happening, but I like to joke about it because it's a lot of fun to me, and I like to keep going that there always has to be. I do not want to make another in the car only movie because the whole thing's in the car and driven, but they can be on some kind of mode of transportation. So like a cruiser, like a well, I cannot think of the term right now. Like luxury cruise. A boat.
Okay.
Yeah, that thing's moving. That's transportation.
I was thinking
Let's do
about
a sequel on that. Sea monsters.
Good.
The last one took place on the ferry app. The next one could take place on an actual ferry.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, and there's those horses.
Our cinematographer gets really seasick.
Ooh, horses. That would make it much worse, Casey. Let's do horses in winter.
I have access to horses.
No, we don't want to do that.
I just saw that Seinfeld episode where Kramer gave the horse.
Yeah.
Again?
Sorry, I think I cut you off. What?
Oh, I was just saying that we might not could guarantee a cold snap like we had the last time.
Yeah,
but I missed what you said.
Oh, we were talking with the horse one, how Kramer just fed that horse and was just farting all the time and killing those people that he was giving them the ride to. That could be part of that too.
Yeah. Horses do fart almost all the time. That's something National Geographic is good at editing out of, like the majestic herds of horses thundering around in the wilderness.
The methane trails.
Yeah. Well, man.
Yeah. Ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, I asked my couple questions, made my, I pronounced stag wrestle correctly, so I think my credit is good there.
Absolutely.
You are now an official stag wrestlian.
There you go. But yeah, how you were
Is that
saying
the right
too.
term?
Like I was like, okay, I'm going to start watching these, and it's like it gives you the option to play like the 4 episodes, and I'm like, okay, but then it's like not this one though, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, and then it's like not this one. I was like, what the hell? And it's like there's a movie though. I'm like, okay, I watched the movie.
Sorry, man. That's an Amazon problem. I don't know. We're just trying to fight the
They
system.
got us good. They got us good.
We were like, we make it a movie. We can put it out in a whole lot of places
Yeah.
instead of just one, and maybe a lot more people will see it. See the
I actually played, I think, the first episode for my wife on my phone while we were waiting to go pick up our kid the other day. Like, I was like,
Really?
he's like, do you want to put some pants on? And he's like, no. And he's like, what the hell? And then he's like, what? And he's like, you can tell that I'm excited to be here. And I was like, you son of a bitch. Like, what the hell is this?
Oh, this is great.
So I was like, I definitely got to show this to my wife. So, any, I know we were talking about Driven.
Oh, yeah.
For the most part, but anything else with like stag wrestle? Like there's one of those 4,
The guy who plays the Colonel is like part of a legit ghost hunting team now. So
But
reality
Wow.
has become fiction, or vice versa.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
We had 2 more. We had 2 more episodes ready to go that we were going to film right when COVID hit. We were scheduled and ready to go, and then
They were supposed to be filmed the weekend of August 13th, 2020. I mean, not August, March 13th, 2020.
yeah, I mean it was like
Well.
right there. Yeah. So there would be 2 more, but it wasn't meant to be, I guess, for now. So I mean, I think we'd love to live in that world as long as we can, or for a long time, but we just need somebody to drop a big pot of cash in front of us. Sorry, Casey, what did you say?
I said I think it's a matter of reassembling the cast. Honestly, it's a matter.
Yeah,
of
they are all around the
when
country.
you
Everybody's
don't
all
have
over now.
money to pay people.
Yeah. We'd love to do it. We'd love
yeah,
to
I
do
thought it was great. Like I said, as soon as we watched Driven, like I said, started looking up more stuff, and then as what the 2 of you working together popped up a lot, and I was like, hell yeah.
There's a short film you may enjoy if you like those. It's like 10 minutes on all of our short films are on YouTube on my channel, but which are free. But it's called A Horror Movie. Horror. Sorry, gotta be careful with that one. And it's pretty funny. It's pretty silly. If you like the others, it's going to be a similar tone, I would say, Casey, if you agree, like to some extent.
Yeah, it's more of a direct satire, but it's
pretty goofy.
Fun.
It's fun though.
All right.
Just in time for Halloween.
Silly fun.
All right.
Right,
Yeah. I appreciate it again.
Thank you for being here.
Sorry
Yeah,
for
thank you
running
so
a
much for
couple
talking
minutes
to
late.
us. I hope we stayed on track reasonably well.
Oh no, we don't do formal interviews. We do more of a conversation.
Okay.
There is no track.
Yeah.
Unless you think, should we start doing a track? Like, hey, you have 2 minutes to answer this. And then, hey,
Absolutely.
we need to move on to the next question, please.
Yeah.
You know?
And
Yeah, I
when we
think it's
do
great.
couple
I
interviews
like it.
like that, like this one, we have to answer at the same time, and people just make of it what they will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whichever one's louder. There you go. Yeah. But I really, thank you guys.
Thank you very
Love
much.
it, you know.
Yeah,
Thank you
just-
for having us.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. We are available on Apple, Google, Stitcher, and Spotify. Give us a like and subscribe if you like what you're hearing.